Hello, how are you guys doing? I thought I'll address this question which is often asked to me, which is how to do mock analysis. Now, the good place to start is not actually looking at how to do mock analysis, but ask the question first of all, which is this question. Let me actually write that question down, which is this, ladies and gentlemen. Instead of asking the question how, I need to ask first of all the question why. So why am I doing mock analysis? What is the reason for me to do mock analysis? If I can answer the question why, then I think that then the how would follow. So most of us start by asking the question how instead of not looking at why. And the why is very simple. The answer to the question is why is because I obviously want to improve my score. The analysis has to aid in that objective of mine because I want to have an improvement in my score. So when I look at, for example, the mock test, and I see the mock test. Let's say at this point in time, this is, ladies and gentlemen, is my desired score. This is, okay, let's put, sorry about that. This is what I'm going to put my target score. And I have fixed a target score, based on whatever percentile that you want to get. And at this point in time, this is my mock score. And when I start looking at this huge gap here, I'm almost going, this seems very impossible. What is the point? But then asking the question, why am I doing this? I am doing this because I want to improve my score, which means for me to improve my score from moving here to here, which essentially means that I have to basically push this score as close to this target score. But then the question is, that's a huge gap. The mock score, ladies and gentlemen, is it your reflection of your capabilities, your true capabilities? Is it? Because the mock score put you under pressure. There were those 76 questions. You are given 2 hours to do that particular test. This had got some constraints. So I really want to know how much of the score can improve. I can improve the score in 2 ways. One way of pushing the score is not doing stupid things that I did in the test. Another way to improve the score is to learn new things. What is that I need to do? For that, ladies and gentlemen, I need to understand one more score. That score is basically I'm going to call my Aukaat score. What does an Aukaat score means is that what is my true ability? If I have all the time with me, how many questions will I get right? So in the mock test, I got certain questions correct, certain questions wrong, and certain questions I did not attempt. But out of this question that you got wrong, how many of them were silly mistakes? Out of the question that did not attempt, how many you could have attempted? Now, your first part of analysis, or in the sense of how to do the analysis, ladies and gentlemen, the first part is to get to know your Aukaat score. That is the most important thing. All you have to do is this simple exercise. Just redo all the questions once again without any time limit. That's it. You can obviously look at these questions again or analyze each of these questions. When I say redo, analyze these questions, just solve it once again to see whether those mistakes that you made, so see out of these questions that you got right, whether there was any fluke, right, first of all. And these questions that you got wrong, when you redo again, how in the second time, how many of these questions are actually getting correct? How many of these questions is now actually getting correct? And how many of them is still remaining wrong? Of the questions that you did not attempt, when you look at the question once again, how many of the questions are now correct and how many of the questions are still wrong? Out of these questions that you got correct, how many of them were genuine questions and how many of the questions were actually flukes? Now this particular thing here is your Aukaat score. That's it. You should not be looking at the explanatory answers. You should just solve this question in this particular manner. It makes sense. Now let's look at what these gaps are. So if I have a gap which is from here to here, what does this gap mean? This gap is a gap which is my skill gap or my knowledge gap. Since it is CAT, which is a skill based test, mostly it is skill gap, which means whatever time that I have, this is where I'm going to reach. And whatever this gap here from here to here is what is that gap, which means I had the ability to solve that many questions, but in the examination I could not. This is probably with respect to the implementation gap or execution gap. Now, for example, if your OCAT score is very close to, very close to your target score, very close to the score. What does that mean? What are you? Why are you learning new things? Whatever you know, implement in the paper. If your OCAT score at this point in time is that side, which means I need to create a lot of skills, a lot of things to learn. So your important thing, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of doing the analysis, you can do whatever you want to do to identify this. You want to do the question once again, you want to do it stuff, but you ensure that you do all the questions again. Learn from those questions, understand what your score is. Now once you understand whatever that gap is, so if you have the skills gap or a knowledge gap, then you can list down those things that I need to study. In some of the cases, the skill gap is actually happening is that I have not started that chapter. I will start the chapter soon. I may understand that paragraph jumble is always going to be a problem, that I at least understand there's a skill that I need to fill. I have got trouble with certain kind of data interpretation, logic reasoning question. I need to understand that need to be filled. So I need to say that these are the things that I need to go and study. The big issue that you're going to face, ladies and gentlemen, and the big problem that you'll always face is essentially how to deal with this one. This is the crazy thing. Why am I having that gap? I know this stuff, but something is happening in the examination. What is going through my head when I look at the examination? So this is going to be the most crucial thing that you need to understand, because if you don't manage this gap, implementation gap, whatever you're studying in, you're going in the examination and doing some crazy things. So the more you study, and you've still got gap in terms of your knowledge and the test that you have, implementation gap that you have, it's not going to work. So the most important thing is look at this. Mind you, the problem that I usually find here is because of this gap that happens, the problem that I usually find is that during the mock test we become a different person. Okay. We, for example, in VARC, during the examination, we suddenly become somebody who wants to read everything fast. Suddenly we're doing things fast. We are hurrying stuff. You're reading this passage, we go, what's going on? And then you hurry things up and you don't understand anything. We focus on speed. In DILR, the big problem is, how do I manage the last 10 minutes? Somehow when the timer goes to 9 minutes left, everything is over, my life is over, I'm stuck somewhere. So I started solving the question, I got stuck. I'm panicking. In the math implementation gap largely happen. You get stuck in a question, you're fighting with one question, there are other questions that's going to happen. You will have to, eventually you will figure out what is the best way you want to deal with. Maybe there is a round 1, I want to do a round 2, I want to do a round 3. For example, in English, I don't want to get stuck in a question that I don't understand. If I get stuck, I'm just going to move on. So that is a conversation that you have to ask yourself. This is very easy to analyze. No, this is what I have to study more. Easy. Solution easy. This is where you have to have a conversation, honest conversation with yourself in terms of understanding what you want to do. And then try a simple idea that I will solve all the questions that I know. I will leave the question that I don't know. I will also don't get stuck in a question. And that's where I think analysis would happen. So another few things that you can actually do with respect to analysis, if you want to look at how you want to look at the analysis of any examination, is that you pick that line in terms of whatever that score is, and then you actually can look at within, let's say this is a particular section, it can be QA section or whatever the section. Let's say you look at for example, where is the 90th percentile score, where is a 85th percentile score in that particular mock test. I'm sure that whichever the test that you're taking, you can get to know these scores, where the 95th percentile score and where the 99th percentile score. What is that score that is there? You can also check that as a table. And where is that you are? Maybe you are somewhere here. I don't know where you are. Your test score maybe, let's say, somewhere here. And then that is my score that I've got. Then you actually look at, okay, I've got these many gaps. This is another gap. This is another gap. You can also look at where is your OCAT score is. Maybe your OCAT score is somewhere here. I'm just taking an example, which means there is this gap of there. There is that gap. There is then this gap here with respect to that score. That's that is one gap implementation, and there are these gaps here. This will also give you some idea in terms of, okay, what would I have done if I had made lesser mistake, probably I can get there. So once you can do any sort of analysis that you want to do, right? Any sort of analysis, at least identifying those set of problems. And then once you identify those set of problems, the next thing that you want to do is, in the next exam, let's be cognizant of that particular problem, implement it. You will not change it immediately. It may so happen that you're aware of this problem, aware of this problem till the day of the CAT, and during the CAT you handle it. But at least be aware of those particular problem. And again, I'm saying that first of all, if you don't even know your OCAT score, it's a big problem. Once you know your OCAT score, the thing that you need to look at is, what is it I need to do to fill this gap? That's it. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how I would advise you to analyze your mock test. I hope I'm making sense to you. Bye.